The opening round of the SsangYong Action Racing Series was all about domination day for the 15-year-old from Auckland, Callum Hedge. He won 3 of the 4 races at Hampton Downs to set up a challenge for the rest of the season. Proudly supported by LDV, Hankook, Elf and BGW Wheels, this is the SsangYong Action Racing Series. Round 2, Pukekohe Park Raceway in December as part of the opening round of the Speedworks Motorsport Championship. Great shots from the LDV drone, all set for 3 races over the weekend, finishing with a 40-minute mini enduro. No Callum Hedge this weekend, he's moving into the 86s. Another great example of why the SsangYong Racing Series is a roadway to future success. But back in the 96 car, 2-time champ, Daniel Connor. Look at that, straight away on the front row of the grid for race 1, backed up by Christina Orr-West, Todd Pruging, Brooke Watson Stoneman, Foster Mallard, Pointing and Henny rounding out the top 10. Big field also lining up for the rest as they line up for race 1. Rolling start, beautiful sunny conditions, and Mark Pedersen joining us here trackside. Pukekohe, here we go, and look at DC straight away, opening line into the corner. Welcome back, the 2-time former champ.
Magnificent venue, magnificent classes we've spoken about before. And from a driver's perspective, Pukekohe, the best circuit in New Zealand, bar none.
Yes, Daniel Connor straight away. He's been racing over in Brazil with his go-kart series, doing fantastic stuff with young drivers over there. But along with his driver training, as we go on board Murray Brook, he's showing them the bumper straight away in race 1.
They will, mate. It's all very well going to Brazil to doing the go-karting, but nothing prepares you for bump drafting and SsangYong utes at Pukekohe. This here, for example, Brownie, you pick up between 6 and 8 kilometres an hour coming down the back straight. We set along the front straight as well. It's all very well to get the braking zone and realise that you're actually going 6 to 8 kilometres an hour quicker, and it's a lot to stop them.
Heavy under the brakes going into the hairpin. Connor, Prugene, Brooks, so some young guys and stalwarts of the class coming through, all chasing Daniel Connor as they come out of the hairpin and up over that beautiful kink going into the hill under the Rexton Bridge.
And this circuit is all about momentum. You've got to build momentum, build it, build it, build it. And for example, if you want to execute a pass at this part of the track right here, you actually set it up coming onto the back straight 3/4 of a lap earlier. You've got to work, you've got to work, you've got to get the lines right because it's so fast, Brownie. It's so bumpy, it's so rough, it's so everything you want from a driver. It's just exactly what I'm saying about the bumps there. The front digs in, then the back will step out. You've got to be at one, you've got to be at peace with the ute, and you've got to have a lot of confidence to get the speed out of them.
Great shots too from our camera team as they get the car streaming over the ripples between 2 and 3 and that exit onto the back straight.
Those ripples on the back straight you want to stay away from no matter what category you are. They're so jagged, they're so rough. It's actually possible to cut a tyre. Doesn't sound too bad, but it's the left-hand side that you're going to cut up. Coming over the top of the hill, it's all left-hand loading. If it goes wrong, it can be catastrophic.
2.3-litre Mercedes motor in these SsangYong utes. And the 4-speed sequential gearbox?
Yes, it is, yeah. Now, it'll certainly be in 4th gear. Coming down to the hairpin, probably 1st or 2nd, but once again...
Oh, he's gone wide!
And that's because you've got to keep the momentum going in here, Brownie. You've got to get the execution right of the apex a little bit too fast, and look how much that's cost him. But now it's the freight train. We've spoken about it before. You lose a bit of momentum, and then the freight train comes looking for you.
Uncharacteristic mistake by Daniel Connor, but of course just getting back into racing after missing that opening round. Opens the door for another one of the drivers as they stream over the mountain down the front straight at Pookie, the famous power circuit. Prugene putting the power down.
And we know that they can go corner to corner, lap for lap, side by side here, so Daniel just needs a little bit of confidence because he has been out of it for a round, but look, it's coming straight back to him, and he's aggressive. He's using all the curbs there. You can use as much curbs as you like. You can't run each other out of racing room.
Let's take a look at the replay then of Daniel Connor going wide and Murray Brook using those revs, changing those gears up to 2nd now, as you can see on the dash, and just wringing its neck to get ahead side by side. There's the other look at the replay with O'Connor. What did he do? Just overcook the braking?
Look, he just probably went in there 1 or 2 kilometres an hour faster than the lap before, and that's all it takes. Because you're on the edge, there you go. See the understeer, the back steps out. This fight to control it is actually very good ute control, that's for sure, but it is what it is.
Looks like Henny's in trouble, the first to suffer a bit of damage.
Good thing about these utes here, Brownie, is they'll just pull that out and it'll be ready to go for race 2.
So quick and easy for the race crews to work on. That's another great feature about the series, is not just for the drivers, but for all the race teams and a lot of family teams that actually help these guys and girls go racing.
Well, it certainly is, but man, this is heating up at the front here, isn't it? You've got Kirk Stoneman now in the red ute, is now part of the picture. Of course, behind him is Daniel Connor, 2-time champion, and then Christina Orr, man. This top 5, 6, 7 battle, it's just the cream of the cream for the SsangYong utes.
O'Connor having a look down the inside as he make it stick along Stoneman. I think he's got the chance. Yes, look at that.
He has, now, of course, captain's by himself, because if you have a look behind Daniel, you've got Christina Orr, so she's actually assisting the speed of that yellow and white LDV ute by actually assisting by punching the hole in the air. That's dragging Daniel forward as well. So Kirk is kind of a no man's land here. So, you know, you expect maybe Christine to pop down the inside of him as well. And that's the bump draft, and it's just magnificent to watch.
Prugene holds the inside line. Brooke around the outside. Stoneman having a wrestle too with Connor.
And they're going to live there. They're going to have to come over the top of the hill as well. And that's 130 plus kilometres an hour at this section here. And they're gathering speed. And this is where you've got to have respect and trust in your fellow competitor. Because if you get it right, Brownie, it's the most amazing feeling. You get it wrong, you're going to end up on the main highway. Yeah,
exhilarating stuff in the racing, especially over the last couple of seasons, as you would know, mate, being the driving standards observer, is all about giving each other racing room and also respect, so you can go racing without huge amounts of damage.
Yeah, look, we want the competitors to rub and race. That's part of it. That's part of the dynamic. That's what I love about the SsangYong utes. It's deliberate driving, the deliberate crashing and taking each other out, which you've got to stomp out. But there's no doubt the recipe is right at the moment. There is good, hard racing. You expect a few panel damages, but it's just part of racing, and it is a magnificent spectacle.
Yeah, just like in rugby, if you do a good, fair, hard tackle, that's okay. But if you take someone out, that's a penalty. So if you do some, foul play and stupid driving, that's just basically, what Motorsport New Zealand will stomp on.
Exactly right, and it's expected as well. And look, as a driver, when you've goofed up and you got it wrong, you put your head down and you plead innocence all the way through. But 99% of the time, you're guilty as sin, and you just got to take it on the chin and move on.
And then you just blame someone else.
Yeah, racing driver.
So it was rubbing and racing.
Yeah, correct. See, what happens is when you go over those curves there, like we've just seen everybody, believe it or not, it actually takes the acceleration out of the ute. So as a driver, you go down the inside and you try to force the other driver up as high as you can, knowing that if they hit the curves, they're going to take maybe 1 or 2 kilometres an hour out of it. And that's exactly why we've seen Murray Brook now suffering on the outside.
I've got to say, great driving as they come out of the hairpin and then too wide around the kink before they go up and over the hill.
Looks like Murray Brook's trying to grab another gear, but that's all there is. There's only 4, so...
Hold on to it. The iconic turn 1, the famous bumps of Pukekohe, and you are on board.
And that is what I love about Pukekohe, is exactly that. It is rough. It's like doing 10 rounds of Mike Tyson when you get out of them. You've got to hold on. You've got to be confident. And, man, you've got to show the ute who's boss.
And that's why the motor racing drivers have got to be fit and in good shape, because it really is not just mechanical, it's also mental toughness and mental fitness as well.
Here we are, Brownie, at last lap, so it's all about the drafting now. If you're going to make a move and execute it, it has to be right now.
You can see how the bump draft works. He's just got sucked in, and now he's going to try and make a move on Prugene round the outside of the hairpin. Can Prugene hold him off? Yes, he will. No, he won't. Yes, he will.
Oh, Todd kind of ran him out of room there. It was probably, he probably didn't understand exactly where Daniel was. Now, because Daniel have any speed, if he's going to do it, you almost got to back off half a ute and get the momentum, build momentum here, hit the next apex, which is over the top of the hill, and have a fly down the inside. I don't know if he's got enough speed to do it.
Last lap, of course, and Prugene, can he take that checkered flag and get a win? Yes, he can, from Connor down to the line. He's got the hand out. Good skills, Todd Prugene. Breakthrough win for him in the SsangYong Racing Series here at Pukekohe. Daniel Connor screaming home for second. Murray Brook rounding out the top 3. So once again, fantastic racing in the opening race from round 2 of the SsangYong Action Racing Series at Pukekohe Park Raceway. A lot for the drivers to talk about and think about as we head to race 2.
Yeah, no, it was definitely hard work keeping the fast guys behind me. I'm just stoked to have my first win for the season. As soon as you're in the draft, you're just flying. The MWN ute's pretty quick in a straight line. South of Heaven gave us a great ute, and yeah, can't complain.
Yeah, no, it was good fun. Made a little mistake and dropped back, but managed to claw it back and almost got tot on the line. So yeah, it was good first race, and it's good racing now and enjoyable. So it's good fun.
This track, we need to draft a lot, so we're drafting there pretty closely and all that, and pretty cool having the roof improvements ute up in 3rd place. So let's try and win it the next run.
Fantastic racing in round 2 of the series here at Pukekohe. Prugene takes out race 1. Stick around. Who's going to take out the checkered flag in race 2?
Welcome to the SsangYong Race Series. We're at round 2 at Pukekohe Park. We've had a fantastic response with more cars on the grid this round, and we've got more responses coming from Australia. It's fantastic to see people getting involved in the sport. You can be on the grid for either lease or purchase options that are cheaper than buying any other car in New Zealand motorsport. Come out, be with us. Half a second makes all the difference in this class from 1st to 10th.
Got to love the passion and the enthusiasm from Mark Mallard, who's the series coordinator and also a racer. There he is, starting from P7 in race 2, led by Daniel Connor, who set the fastest time from race 1. So that's how they decide the grid for the second showdown of the weekend at Pukekohe Park Raceway in the SsangYong Action Racing Series. So a real challenge for some of the other drivers coming back from the rear of the field. Here we go, rolling start once again. And the battle continues between Connor and Murray Brook out on the front of the grid.
What we used to do, Bounty, in the old categories is you say to the other front driver, look, you and I, let's work together. We'll try to make a bit of a break on everybody else. Doesn't happen in this category. There is no room for it because everybody is going 10 tenths. You can already hear the tyres squealing in the background, and we're only 2 corners into this race. They're going hard. Oh, man, that's wide. You don't want to get any wider than that because the next thing to slow you down is that 3-ton concrete block.
It's good advice. Great shots there and wonderful sound because you can just hear those hand-cooked tyres screaming and giving great grip as they race through the ripples and then onto the back straight. Remember, no kink here like they have for the supercars. So it's old school, old style, old-fashioned racing on the power circuit of Pukekohe, which means good old-fashioned braking right there into the hairpin.
And it's hard braking as well. You know, you're deaccelerating from probably 160 kilometres an hour down to probably 40 or 50, and then you've got to keep the acceleration going. So one thing about Pukekohe, you're either hard on the throttle or you're hard on the brakes, and very, very rarely is it anything in between. So you don't get any time to breathe in a SsangYong ute because when you're coming down the straight like they are now, you've got to look in the mirrors and think, well, where's the competitor going? Where's Kirk Stoneman? Is he going to bump draft me? Is he going to set me up for a move? What do I do? So you're always thinking every second of every lap here, and it can get quite exhausting.
It's also hard on the setup too because it's all about that, hang on to it.
Synchronised drifting, isn't it?
They're all around the place. Sideways, up and over the ripples, back onto the track. How would you feel?
We gathered it though, only lost a couple of spots, but it's the momentum now for old Captain Kirk, which is going to hurt him. He'll be wondering what went wrong. Actually, you can tell exactly what went wrong there.
There's the replay on board Murray Brook. You can see Stoneman's gone wide. Murray had a bit of a look over the left shoulder, say what's happened to him. I think how would he feel? Relief.
Yeah, normally when you see that, you have a little bit of a grin and a little bit of smirk on your face when you see that happen to another competitor, but not quite happy when it happens to yourself. But look, just a lot of commitment going into turn 1. First racing lap, tyres aren't quite up to temperature, so you do have to learn how much mechanical grip you've got, very much on the fly.
Yeah, and it's also that balance as we take a look at Mark Mallard and the cream ute, getting that balance between the setup for speed, because it's a power circuit, but also right here to be able to ride the bumps.
Yeah, you've got 2 long straights separated by 5 or 6 corners, and the corners are very important because, if you come off the back straight 1 or 2 kilometres an hour slower, it doesn't sound like much, but you actually carry that speed for 38 seconds. So, when you roll that out, it's probably 50 or 60 metres, which in motorsport terms is a long, long time. So You've got to keep the momentum going, and it's so important here at Pukekohe because it's so fast.
Great shots. The iconic turn one. Tyres screaming. Utes revving to the max. Drivers totally psyched. Great shots. The speed shot coming onto the back straight.
This race has kind of divided itself into three now, hasn't it? First three Utes, second three, and then the rest of the field as well. So first three, they will battle with each other, but I doubt 4th, 5th and 6th have actually got enough speed to work together to get onto the leading bunch.
But that's a great thing about this series, because you've got three battle groups. The top three going for a podium. You've got 4, 5 and 6, and you've got other battle groups further down the field. So even if you're not in front, you've still got a battle with other drivers of the same sort of ability in exactly the same ute.
Oh, absolutely, and that's what I love about the category. It's just such good close-quarter racing all the way through the field. But there was one thing I heard coming on the end of the back straight, is how hard the down changes. They're using all the engine speed to slow the ute down. It's Murray Brook. There's someone on the inside of him there having a
Prugene.
Yeah, Prugene having a crack. Side by side, 4th gear, flat out, and there's just enough respect where they get by safely.
Daniel Connor, a two-time series winner on the SsangYong Action Racing utes. Got to say that, you know, Prugene and also Murray Brook have been two of the great improvers over the last couple of seasons, really sort of matured with their racing.
Oh, absolutely. You know, Todd Prugene and my and my thought process, he's actually a success in the class. He went away. He's documented about, you know, had a few challenges in round one from previous years, and he's come back so much stronger as a person. And Murray Brook as well, you know. A couple of years ago, Murray was battling for the top 10. Now he's battling for the lead.
The SRS 16, what does that mean on the dash there?
Okay, so essentially it's SsangYong Racing Series, and 16 just nominates what chassis number it is. It's nothing to do with the racing number. And more for the judicial system, it tells us what camera number we've got to look at if there's ever an incident or something we've got to look at.
And also how many chassis there are available around the field if you want to go and lease one of these things. Around about $8,000 you can pick up one of these utes and go racing, which is dead set cheap, isn't it?
It is the cheapest form of motorsport. But look at the product that we're looking at on the screen right now. It is magnificent racing, and it is developing, it's nurturing all the up-and-coming talent of New Zealand motorsport.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, man, that's fast.
Oh, round the outside, turn one. Big, bold and brave. That's where the marbles are. And he's got to do it. Is he?
Oh. Man,
Connor onto the grass. They're both hanging on to it. And look at that, too wide. Give each other a little bit of a tank slapper. And now they're too wide down the back straight. Sensational.
Brownie, we just saw 3 corners with utes getting airborne, going off the track, and all we saw was one bent wing mirror. That's unbelievable.
And you've got a two-time champion, does a lot of driver training. As we said, Daniel Connor's just been over to Brazil. And you've got Murray Brook bump drafting him, and Todd Prugene, who's coming back, you know, and really improving in the series. So it just shows you how much racecraft these drivers are learning, and learning from a guy like Daniel Connor out in front.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, he leads by example, and that's where, if you come in second or third, the level of maturity in a talented driver is one that will actually duck behind the fast guy and learn. Learn from the strengths, learn from the weaknesses, and let's see how much Murray Brook's learned, because he might actually try to set this up for a move, and Todd Prugene will determine if Murray Brook wins this race of the bump draft or not.
So down to the line. He made a mistake in race one, but this time no mistake for Daniel Connor. He holds off the bump draft of Murray Brook, and Todd Prugene, the winner from race one, is going to round out the top 3 as the rest of the battle packs scream across the line. And a thumbs up. Good racing between these guys at the front of the field. So confirming the result of race 2 at Pukekohe Park Raceway, Daniel Connor gets the win, Murray Brook second, and Todd Prugene rounds out the top 3. Christina Orr-West holds on for a top 4 finish from the rest of that battle pack in the SsangYong Action Racing Series. Once again, great racing by the drivers.
Because they're so heavy and not a lot of power, it's hard to get away from a pack. They pretty much chase you down as soon as you get away. So hopefully I can work with someone and get away from the pack behind us or catch the pack in front of us. We're going to have probably, 30 laps worth of racing. So we've got to be a little bit more strategic and maybe battle like towards the end instead of the start. So yeah, it's a little bit different. I got to start from the back. So we'll see how it goes. Hopefully we can come through and battle for the win.
Yeah, it was really cool. We had really close racing there, and drafting and all that, and managed to get second place, so hopefully we can win this next race, the 40-minute race.
Oh yeah, it was a difficult drive trying to keep Murray Brook back, but it was great driving on everyone's behalf. Just stoked to have the MWN Ute back on the podium. Hopefully we can pull something off starting from the back, being a reverse grid, and yeah, should be good.
Hi, I'm Christina West, here in the SsangYong Action Racing Series at the beautiful Pukekohe Raceway. We're heading into race 3. It's a 40-minute endurance race with a full reverse grid. I'm starting P13, so she's going to be difficult. So here are the grids.
Yes, will it be lucky number P13 for Christina West? So race 3, full reverse grid, 40-minute mini enduro. Henny and Farhan on the front row of the grid. Talk about handling the pressure. The rest of the field will follow them away, and then of course the fast drivers coming from the rear of the field. Now the big talking point about this 40-minute enduro is there's going to be a 20-minute window. After 10 minutes and up to 30 minutes they have to make a compulsory drive through pit lane and then rejoin the race. So that's going to really open up a battle of strategy. Rolling start once again as they spread out. All the slowest drivers at the front of the field, so they're going to be under pressure straight away. And suddenly they're going to be under attack from the rest of the battle packs as they go 3 wide around the marbles. Lots of grit.
It's a 40-minute enduro. We're lap 1 and they're 5 abreast. Just insane. Matter of fact, second, third and fourth are already making contact coming on the back straight, which is only turn 4 of a 40-minute race. Magnificent stuff, but Brownie, when I heard the concept that after 10 minutes they're going to have this pit window where everybody's going to come through for essentially just tour the pit lane, I thought, well, hey look, yeah, I don't understand it. And then I thought, hang on, these utes do not have pit lane speed limiters, so it's up to the drivers to determine what speed they're going, right? A major point is that if they get it wrong and they speed, they've got to come into pit lane.
Oh, braking. Oh, couldn't quite see what was happening up in front during the old bump draft.
Long way up front, there was an awful lot of smoke, so someone hit the brakes, locked up, and then everybody panics accordingly.
Auckland drivers would be used to that, a bit like on the motorway. Here they come, up and over the hill. Yeah, so it's really going to be a bit of a tactical race as long as like a 40-minute sprint race as well. So who is going to take that drive-through pit lane straight away from 10 minutes, or who's going to leave it right to the last? And will there be any advantage when and how you take that drive-through?
Well, it will be, because if you're in a battle and you're losing half a second a lap because of the heat of the battle, you want to pull your... Oh! Wow. Is that Murray Brook?
Oh, big crash. 3, 4, 5 utes off at turn 1. There's been a few accidents in the previous classes, and there's a lot of sawdust around that corner to soak up a lot of the debris and oil and stuff. And have a look on board. She's all chaos.
It's actually not Murray Brook, it's the young Aussie, Chris Quinlan's come over here, and he's learnt by baptism of fire of what goes wrong when you get turn 1 wrong, but man, it just happened so fast.
Todd Pruging did really well to miss all the damage, but that's a nasty sound. You heard the smashing into Christina West as we go on board with Daniel Connor. Remember, these are the fast guys from the back. Pull it up.
Mate, talk about threading the needle with the smallest amount of damage possible. Kirk Stoneman almost went over in the Myland ute there. Christina, that's a lot of damage. Unfortunately, it's going to be more damage than Lee. It's got a punctured tyre.
That's going to take the edge out of the lady from Edgecombe, the motoring mum from the Bay of Plenty.
And that's one thing about Pukekohe is it's so fast, you very rarely have a contingency plan when something goes wrong, and that's exactly what we saw. Because when you're battling to turn 1, Brownie, and you've got 2 or 3 utes each side of you and someone spins, you can't go left because there's someone there. You can't go right because of a big concrete barrier. So, you know, sometimes when you're committed to turn 1, you just got to let it unfold.
And that's part of this learning curve in the SsangYong Action Racing Series. When it's hard and fast, you're learning racecraft. When it all turns to chaos, you're learning reaction time and how you handle the pressure of another driver making a mistake and forcing you into a mistake and trying to avoid pedal damage. The problem is, this has happened before the 10-minute pit lane window opens up, so they're under the safety car at the moment. So it means that the motoring mum, there she is, Christina West, is going to have to limp back to the pits. But when she comes in and they'll fix that bumper, She will still have to go back and do her pit lane drive-through later on.
Now, the reason why Christina's actually driving down the grass just shows her maturity and experience. When you get a flat tyre, you always want to drive on the grass because it takes a lot of cushion out, it saves damaging the track, but will also allow you to get back to pit lane.
So she's gone in to fix that bumper. The safety car is off and we are back racing again. 40-minute mini enduro. Round 2 at Pukekohe Park Raceway. Plenty of great racing in the opening races. Lots of good challenging circumstances for the drivers. Now it's a real battle and a battle of survival for some of them too.
It will be. Look, I'm really disappointed about this restart here. There is so much space amongst all the drivers. Okay, you've got Murray, Brook and Todd Prugine. They know how the system works. They're battling with each other, but on a restart, you've got to be driving into the ute in front of you to take advantage. It just makes no sense why there's so much gap between everybody.
More gripping and grinding as they head on to the back straight. That's all part of that learning curve too for some of the less experienced drivers at the front of the field. With this reverse grid showdown, they just forgot to close up right on the bumper at the restart and not let the front guys get away. Straight away, you've lost all of that slipstreaming and drafting there.
Yeah, but there's so much speed in the second and third group. Right, at some stage in the next 2 or 3 laps, I dare say, that we're going to have 13 of these angry little SsangYongs all racing together. Now, Farhad Newt, number 27, the Myland car, he's just getting out of the way. He's still learning. It's only his second ever race meeting ever, so he's still trying to learn what's right and what's wrong and what to do and what not to do. And he is about to have a baptism of fire with 3 of the hardest charges in this category coming up to pass him.
Go on board, Murray Brook. He's waving at one of the other drivers. No, you can't do that. Or is he telling Daniel Connor to get up as Ringangoo, give him a push?
Exactly what I was thinking he's trying to do there is just indicate, look, give me a hand, let's get past Farhad together and let's try to work together to get the gap closed.
So you can work as a team with another driver?
Oh, absolutely you can do, yes. Yeah, you know, you've got to in this instance, there's no doubt about it, because there's no point in a 40-minute enduro, Brownie trying to race each other from lap 1, 2 or 3. Just work together, get a drafting part like they do in NASCAR, and both you collectively do the work to get to the front, then it's game on.
Charlotte Pointing in the lovely pink ute, the breast awareness ute, young racer out of Australia, getting a lot of experience like a lot of young Aussies are doing now in the New Zealand Motor Racing Series with the Speedworks Motorsport Championship coming across and racing in our classes, like our guys go over there and win the supercars like Scotty McLaughlin and Shane Van Gisbergen. So it's great to have a bit of trans-Tasman rivalry.
But isn't that cool, the recognition for New Zealand motorsport now, where they are sending people over to the SsangYong utes and other categories to nurture that development in their drivers to get the best out of them and then send them back to Aussie where they just keep that experience growing.
On board, Pukekohe. This is what it's like to do the old bump draft and slipstreaming. And if you're really brave, you're flat to the floor here, and there's no buttoning off around that corner.
Oh, I'll do a little bit of a correction there, Brownie. There is a little buttoning off, as it turns out.
He did a really good job, didn't he? He just let that momentum take him straight through and nailed the pass at turn 1, Todd Prugine.
Yeah, look, you can actually go through there.
Oh, not this time, though.
Nope, he's gone. Stage exit, hard right. Still hard. Put hard in it on the grass.
There's dust, there's smoke. You name it, you've got it.
Hey, look, sorry, just go back to turn 1, Brownie. I want to clarify. You actually go faster through turn 1, 2 and 3 by backing off than you do go hard charging in there, because if you go into turn 1 too fast, you actually have a little bit of understeer. That's when you turn the steering wheel on the car and the car wants to go straight ahead. Right? And then you actually get it wrong for 2, 3, and more importantly, you get the exit of turn 4 wrong, which is the back straight. So turn 1 is probably one of the most critical corners on this whole track.
And try and pick it up from the other drivers as they go through turn 1. So you let that speed or
this ain't good,
and
because he's on the grass at the fastest part of the track with regards to cornering speed.
Connor just shaking his head, but
Yep.
she did button off and give him a bit of racing room. So we're on board Daniel Connor here. He'll go hard and fast down to turn 1, and he'll just probably tweak it off and let the momentum take him through the apex. First of the drivers coming in for that compulsory pit lane drive through. Remember, they've got about, 40 kilometres to go? That's the speed they can go through the pit lane.
And of course, some of these utes do have speedos and some aren't working. This is
Oh,
Charlotte
on
pointing.
board with Charlotte pointing, and she's been turned around.
Did she do that by herself or did she get offloaded? Daniel Connor was in close proximity to her, but, oh,
Not a good place to park.
no, especially when you're rolling back. When you're rolling back, you're onto the racing line.
Right, we're on board. This is the replay from Daniel Connor. Oh, just a little bit of a tap.
He's unloaded her, coming into the, into 3 and 4.
Was that a bit of tit for tat after she almost ran him off in the previous lap?
Quite possibly, or alternatively, it might just be the difference in closing speeds. You know, Daniel's got a lot of experience here. Charlotte's relatively new at this category in this circuit, so yeah. Either
He's
way,
got a bit of damage to the front of his ute, so will that slow him down?
Nah, because that's been there from that earlier incident. So it takes a lot to slow these utes down.
Stick around, the pit lane window is open, the battle of strategy has begun. Welcome back to Pukekohe Park Raceway and the final showdown of the weekend in the opening round of the Speedworks Motorsport Championship. And of course, round 2 of the SsangYong Action Racing Series. Clint Brown and Mark Pedersen watching the slow drive through pit lane. Remember, it's the compulsory drive-through.
It is an eternity, all right? 40 kilometres an hour, so you can do 39.999. You can't do 40.01. If you do, they're going to bring you in. Right, and they've got the radar gun that's working there. Of course, Christina Orr's ute there getting repaired. And that's taken a lot of damage there.
And the man with the green here is Wayne from Pukekohe, one of the many hard-working volunteers. He's been doing this sort of stuff for over 10 years. Also helps out doing the recce's and the park fermes and rally racing. So it's great that all the volunteers do a superb job with all the motor racing around the summer of motorsport in New Zealand.
They do. Talk about doing a superb drive, right? When you're a driver and you come in and you know that you've got to do a drive-through stop for whatever reason, what you do, Brownie, is you go and find out where the guy is standing with a radar gun. Because at Pukekohe, when you come into the pit lane, you've got a series of corners which aren't seen. So we know the guy, the radar gun's at the far end of the thing. So this part of the track where you can't hear, you speed. You speed like buggery, knowing full well you can't get caught. Doesn't mean it's legal, and here we go, right?
So there's Wayne. He's got the radar on Todd Prugine. Gets
Giving
the thumbs up. Now, where does he come back out? Because the other guys have made their stop, and this could be a turning point. There's the other leaders, Brooke and Connor. Connor ducks down the inside of the hairpin, but this may be a big advantage for Todd Prugine here. Because I think he's going to rejoin the race, and he might have a handy lead.
He did. You know, we saw him almost using the maximum allowed speed down pit lane. So when he came in, he was by himself. Didn't have to worry about slowing the ute down too much.
So there he is.
Tell us.
Here he's coming out.
He's got a big lead.
Big turnaround. He won race 1, third in race 2, and now he's got the top spot in race 3.
But keep in mind, there is 2 fast approaching utes, which is Daniel. Oh, no, sorry, that's a lie, mate. He's got a huge lead.
And remember, there's still quite a bit of time to go because that pit lane window closes around about 30-minute mark, and then they've got another 10-minute sprint, basically. So
Well,
it ain't over yet, mate.
No, you're right. And you hit the nail on the head. This is actually a 40-minute sprint race, right? No way is it an endurance race. It's only endurance because of the amount of time they're doing. They are going 100% every corner for every lap.
Here's the cream team. Mark Mallard, the series organiser, following his teammate James Watson in the number 3 ute. So they're certainly working together here as they go past Wayne with the radar gun. And here is Todd Prugine. He's grabbed the lead. Can he hold it on to it? Will the other guys be able to work together now and try and bump draft their way up and close that big gap between first and second? So there he is. He crosses the start-finish line. He's in front of these guys. They're going to come out. Are they in front of... I think they may be. There's Prugine going around turn 1. And have they re-entered in front of Connor?
Yes, they have. Yeah, good point. Very good
Brooke.
spotting.
So that's another change. And that's one of the great things about this mini enduro. Suddenly it's all strategy, it's all tactics, team racing, and little wee battle groups spread right throughout the race.
It is now. Daniel Connor and Murray Brooke, of course, have got all that hard work to do because they've got 3 competitors, which are fast competitors, but they're not quite at the same speed as what Daniel is. So they've got to battle each other and then try to process the utes in front and then somehow try to close the gap down to Todd Prugine, which, given how much ute speed Todd's got, that'd be a very tall order.
Charlotte Pointing in the number 40 ute, that's the young Australian racer.
See, what I'll do if it's in Charlotte's position now is when you come past the start-finish line, is back out of it, right, let Todd pass, duck in behind him, and then try to learn from Todd. Todd's obviously got a lot more ute speed because he's got a lot more confidence, a lot more experience, and she could actually use this as a learning curve.
So he's going to get the bump draft here. Now he's going to try and duck down the inside and make the pass through turn 1 and use that slipstream to good effect.
Yep. Now she can see the spot here, she won't challenge this. Right, now duck in, now learn. Right, where does Todd hit the brakes? Obviously don't learn that because it's drifting, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Here's Murray Brook. He's moved down the inside of Watson. Now he's trying to close in on Connor, so they've got past those guys. And now they've got to try and work together to close that gap.
They do, and man, they have these SsangYong utes dancing. And what I mean by that, Brownie, is they're hitting the curves, but they hit them in such a way where it's actually assisting the ute speed. Right, they're not coming in, hitting the brakes, hitting them, and it's just throwing the thing in the air. This is poetry in motion.
Yeah, when you get rally drivers going sideways on gravel, it's like, you know, dancing behind the wheel, and it's exactly the same here.
Yep.
On the tarmac, you can really make these things dance and move, drive, but literally by the seat of your pants.
You can do it, and you're using the curves to assist your lap speed. Sure, you're cutting the circuit up, but you're allowed to do it.
It's all getting that flow, isn't it? That fluidity.
And it's racing here at Pukekohe and using the curbs, it's like the ultimate golf swing. Okay? When you get it right, you just know it.
So Charlotte Pointing, I think she's going to be one of the last to make her compulsory drive through. Now, it's not a pit lane stop, right? They've just got to drive through pit lane, and she's gone quite slow through there, which is smart.
And that's the part I was talking about before, is because the radar gun's not here, technically you're only meant to do 40 kilometres an hour, but they can't catch you if you're going faster because they've got no mechanism to. So as a driver, that's one of the arsenals you have in your toolbox.
And you can always argue that's the entry to pit lane.
Oh, no, it's pretty black and white. No, it's deliberate cheating what you're going to do, but if the gun's not there and they can't catch you, then use it.
Now, a big question is, as we take a look at Mallard doing a great job, and a lot of the guys actually race in these series and also organise them as well, right throughout the classes of New Zealand motorsport. So you've got to take your hat off to the passion and the enthusiasm for guys like Mark Mallard from that famous motor racing family, the Mallards. Be like ducks to motor racing, what they are to duck shooting. I tell you what, now look, see what I'm talking about, you get the bump draft here, but what about when you come down to the hairpin, you're right up behind the bumper, you've got to be able to control your braking so you don't push the guy past that braking zone, surely.
Well, exactly right, 100% correct, yeah. So it's all very well these two working together, and I can't believe how much they've actually closed the gap on Todd Prugine, but if you pick up 6 or 7, 8 kilometres an hour because of the bump draft, at some stage you have to stop that additional speed, and you hit the nail on the head, Brownie. If you try to stop the ute at exactly the same braking zone you do and we've got someone behind you, something has to give.
So that's all about knowing and anticipating the braking spot of the driver in front of you when you're actually working together. So you've got to be sort of like two working as one.
You do. Come down the back straight, you bump draft somebody, and what you do is, if you're the second ute, you back off a little bit early. Hope the ute in front carries too much speed. They come into the hairpin, a little bit too much speed, they understeer because they carry too much speed going into that corner. You make the pass come down the front straight.
So she's all on here, closing stages of the final showdown at Pukekohe in the SsangYong Real Good Action Racing Series. And it's Todd Prugine, winner of race 1. Daniel Connor, winner of race 2. Murray Brook, who's been right up there for a podium's place in the other races. And I think he's broken the draft now. Daniel Connor says, right, I'm all out attack. I've got to make the move to try and catch Todd Prugine because I'm running out of time.
I think he has that much ute speed at the moment compared to Todd at this stage of the race. Oh, that sounds inevitable.
And that's the reason why he's broken the slipstream. Murray Brook has got some engine problems.
Okay, so we know it's select all gears, first, second, third, fourth, or down change. That's working. Sounds like an exhaust type. There's no acceleration.
So can he hold on to the finish?
Well, he's about to find out.
Up and over the top of the mountain, the rest of the field is streaming past. There goes Watson and James Watson, number 3.
There's no huge vibrations, okay, so we can rule out drive chain. We know it's got full transmission by first, second, third, and fourth, so maybe it's an exhaust system. So what you need to do as a driver is you need to make the decision. Can I carry on, or it's just going to be catastrophic if I carry on, and part of the learning curve.
Right, here we go, last lap, screaming. Look at the tyres, working hard. Prugene working hard. Great drive so far in the MW Civil Ute. Fantastic welcome back by Daniel Connor in the LDV Ute. These two guys have put on a masterclass of one-make motor racing this weekend, and they've really shown the other guys this is how you do it. And a great example, you lose a guy like Callum Hedge, who's used this series to improve his motor racing, the young 15-year-old rising star from Auckland, and then straight away these guys step up and say, I can do exactly what you've done, so you go and do your stuff in the 86s, and we're going to take control of the SsangYong Racing Series ourselves. So this is great racing. Been a great little idea, actually, the mini enduro.
Oh, it's fantastic. You know, who would have thought after 40 minutes plus a tour down pit lane that there'd only be a second plus between first and second? Not me.
And he's going to race around to try and take second spot with a busted ute in the front there. Says a lot about the reliability and the durability of these utes as well. So down to the line, checkered flag time. And it's Todd Prugene raises the hand in victory and gets the win in the mini enduro here to wrap up the racing at Pukekohe Park Raceway. James Watson coming home for a well-deserved third, backed up by his teammate Mark Mallard in fourth. And poor old Murray Brook misses out on a spot in the top 5, coming home 6th because his motor was sick. And as our producer DT says, very exciting racing. It's like Formula First with roofs. And Todd Prugene makes it 2 from 3 over the weekend to wrap it up and take out the mini enduro.
Hard drive for sure. The MWN ute was on fire. It was just difficult trying to keep that lead. I seen the boys catching me in the background, just trying to hold the place.
It was good, me and Murray working together and trying to catch Todd up. He obviously had a pretty quick pit stop. He was probably almost a straight ahead of us, so I don't know how he managed that, but anyway, we almost caught him, but not quite. But yeah, it was a good race, and unfortunately got caught up at the start with a bit of carnage, so yeah, that's what we could do.
It was hard work though. I seemed to be in nowhere land, and I just had to maintain, and in the end it worked out when the other guy got stuck in gear, managed to get on the podium. All the other races have been hectic. It's felt like the first lap for the first 8. So that race we were able to settle in. I managed to get into a rhythm, and yeah, it finished all right.
And that win puts Todd Prugene on top of the championship, but it's very close, only 42 points separating the top 4 now. And that big crash certainly cost Christina Raw West a lot of points as she dropped back down towards the bottom of the top 10. Next up, we head to Bruce McLaren Park in February for round 3, followed by Manfield and then the big enduro at Pukekohe. SsangYong Action Racing Series, proudly supported by LDV, Hankook, Elf and BGW Wheels.